Good afternoon, YouTube. Welcome to another blistering day in Raleigh, North Carolina. Today I am actually making some pasta, making some spaghetti. And so I had a thought, why not use some of that basil that I have in the garden? So I do have two types of basil. I have a holy basil and I have a cinnamon basil. I don't know which one would be best for the recipe. Based off what I read, I'm guessing probably the holy basil is probably the most appropriate because the cinnamon basil was described as going to like desserts and things like that. But in any case, we are going to harvest a little bit of both and we are going to put both in our spaghetti because, hey, we're going this stuff. We need to use this stuff. So, right here, I believe this is cinnamon basil, this plant right here. And so I have already cleaned my shears with a little bit of alcohol. Do that if you're harvesting. You don't want to spray any diseases or anything like that. And then I'm going to get cutting. I'm just going to take a few snips and then I'm going to find the holy basil and get a few snips there and then we'll be on our way. So let's get going. All right. So this basil never really ever stood up. So it's like going across the ground. So I'm just going to take a little snip here above a branch here, and it's not very fragrant initially, but it smells okay. All right, and I believe this is an example of the holy basil down here. I mean, this one, it actually had a flower on top that I pinched off. So I don't know, maybe it's going to bloom. I mean, going to seed. I don't know. Um, but they're pretty little flowers. But I just pinched it off because apparently it can change the flavor of the basil. So I'm gonna just pinch it here, I guess. And this is a little bit more fragrant. It's not overly fragrant. So this right here is a cinnamon basil also, and I'm just gonna get a little bit more. Now this one is really, really potent. I wonder what the difference is, but this one is particularly potent. I can really, really smell it. Um, I can smell the spice, and the clove. So I'm gonna get some of this, and I believe this right here is a holy basil right here. So I'm just gonna clip a little bit of this. And again, not that potent. I don't know. But it'll be a good test just to see how it turns out in the pasta sauce. And while I have you out here, why not just look at some of the progress in the garden? So, again, this is our butterfly bush, or butterfly weed actually, in bloom, looking pretty good. This is our pepper plants. You're noticing a little bit of yellow on the leaves. I probably have to fertilize. But this middle one is really starting to put out some peppers, as is that one over there. You can see like a little pepper growing right there. This one, like I said, has a pretty good sized pepper right there. We're getting some tomato blooms on this potato plant. Our flowers are really starting to go. And that's the thing about zinnias. That's a zinnia right there. One of my favorite plants. They just go up to the roof. They go up to the sun. Tomato plants with more um, blooms on them. And the interesting thing about zinnias that I found out later, because I noticed that the stalk was really, really hard from last year at the end of the season. I was like, this is like a sunflower stalk. Like it's firm, hard enough to really like use as a post. And then I discovered that yes, zinnias and sunflowers are related. We're having a lot of progress on our uh, Tigger melon. We got two growing, one over there and one over there, right there. Our scallop squash is looking pretty good. We're having nasturtium growing. The other thing that I'm really, really proud of this year is that I was actually able to grow at least one alyssum. So I'm pretty, pretty proud of that. right there with the purple and white. I'll be planting some more pretty soon. But yeah, I'm really, really proud of that. Over to our last garden bed, and we have some more blooms on our tomato plants. More blooms on our tomato plants. More nasturtium growing, and again, nasturtium has been something that for some reason I could never grow, but you can see leaves popping up, and they have a unique leaf, so it's easy to make those out. But yeah, we're growing in North Carolina. Hopefully, y'all are growing as well, and you can let me know what your successes are um, so far this year. But yeah, everything's growing in North Carolina. Keep fruiting and keep blooming. All right, folks, we are back inside the house, and we have some of our basil here. We have our pasta going. And so I'm just picking the basil leaves off of here. I'm not really for sure how much I should be adding. So I'm just going to add a little bit of both. I've already washed them. And yes, this cutting pan is a little bit, it's not dirty. I just had some pre-cooked chicken that I had frozen. I had seasoned it with some garlic and some ginger. And I had some left over. I made some into barbecue, like a pulled barbecue, and then the other part I just froze for later. So now I was using it, and so I defrosted it, and I cut it up, and I put it in my pasta sauce, and now I'm about to cut up this basil. And based off what I've read online, this is something that you add right at the end if it's fresh, because you want a nice fresh taste. So like I said, my pasta's going, my sauce is simmering with the chicken in it, and so once everything is done, I'm going to add the pasta, then add this basil, and we'll see what it tastes like. Apparently pasta and basil are popular together, so we'll see how it turns out, and if holy basil or cinnamon basil adds a good taste to it. Stay tuned. All right, you guys, I've added my pasta to my sauce, and then we are just going to sprinkle some basil on, and then I'll let you know how it turns out. So I didn't record the final product, so I'm just including a video of a ladybug that I found on a tomato plant. But before I added the basil, the pasta sauce was definitely more acidic. Afterwards, it definitely had a balanced, fuller flavor. So I definitely enjoyed it. Thumbs up for me, you guys. Have a good one.